Welcome to the graveyard. I'm Violet Hummingbird, and today is day 22 of Spooky October, where every evening for the month of October, I read you a true spooky story. So please make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss another video. And I am showing you footage from the graveyard where I like to film these story times. So keep an eye out in case you see any ghosts or orbs in the footage, and please let me know if you do. Otherwise, if you're listening, I hope you enjoy this story. And let's see, today's story is by Elizabeth, and I will be discovering this with you for the first time as I have not read the story yet. So let's go ahead and get started. I was pulling my black roller bag down the aisle of the 727. I was ready to go hit the beach. We had a 2.5-hour flight to the Bahamas. In 4 hours, I had figured I would be lying on the white sands, soaking up the rays and eating conch fritters for lunch, thinking being a flight attendant is the best job in the world. I was about halfway down the airplane when a head popped up from behind one of the seats. I jumped, obviously surprised. "What are you doing?" It was one of our mechanics. "Just installing a new strip of floor lighting. I'm just about done," he said. "Am I the first one here?" Stephanie was here, but ran up to get some coffee. We crossed paths on the jetway. "You look tired. Have you been here all night?" Most aircraft get their repairs in the wee hours. "Yeah, it was a long night. The aircraft is in good shape, though." Wearily, he stood up and stretched. "Actually, have you heard the stories of this particular plane?" I had a feeling that I knew where this conversation was going. "Is this the plane that has a history of strange occurrences? Isn't there some kind of interesting story that comes along with this plane?" "Actually, I'm not sure what the story is, but this is the plane everyone talks about." "Have you ever witnessed anything paranormal yourself?" "Sure, several times." He looked around the aircraft. "Like what?" I had heard of the odd encounters, but I had never met anyone who had experienced them. "Well, every time I work in the cabin in the graveyard shift, no pun intended," he said, chuckling, "I hear footsteps running up and down the aisle. When I look, no one is there. I'm not the only one who has had this happen." "Really?" "Cross my heart." He made the motion across his heart. "I think pretty much every mechanic who's worked on this plane has a few stories to tell. Missing screwdrivers end up in strange places, and wrenches have been found in seat back pockets on rows we weren't even working on. I've even seen the oxygen masks pop out from the compartments for no good reason. Some of the guys pass it off as our imaginations, but I'm not so sure." "What else has happened to you?" I asked. My curiosity was piqued. "Well, the most common are the voices." "Voices?" "We end up feeling like fools because we all keep yelling out, 'What?' to each other, because we keep hearing our names being called and there's never anyone around. Sometimes it sounds like a woman singing crazy stuff." "Do you tell us flight attendants these stories just to freak us?" I asked, not convinced. "Trust me, one day you'll encounter a freak incident and you'll come running back to me to tell me how right I was. I was the same way when I first started here and was told the tales." I laughed. "Okay, I believe you, as long as it's not in flight." I put my suitcase in the overhead bin. "That's what's so strange. It never happens in flight. I think it's because the engines are running. So if someone were whispering your name, you wouldn't hear it. Those 727s are allowed." A few moments later, the rest of my crew showed up and we had our usual crew briefing about meals, special passengers, and weather. A short time later, we took off for the beautiful island. We served our choice of cheese omelets or French toast, both with sausage. Our passengers were wonderful and the flight was smooth. When we arrived on the island, we bid goodbye to our vacationing passengers. Deplaning took a while longer than it should have. The island only had one working air stair, which was pushed up against the front of the entry door. When the last family made its way down the stairs, the crew members gathered their belongings, looking forward to a lovely layover. We carried our bags down the stairs. When I arrived at the last step, I turned to one of the other girls behind me and said, "I forgot my water bottle. Will you keep an eye on the bags? I'll be right back." I ran up the air stairs and hurried down the aisle toward the back of the aircraft. I pushed the blue curtain aside and entered the galley. I opened the compartment where my water with lemon slices was sitting. Just then I heard someone I thought was the captain call my name. "Yes," I responded. I heard my name again. "I'm coming. Did you need me to grab you something from the galley?" He didn't answer. I pushed back the galley curtain and peeked into the aisle. "Captain? Hello? Did someone call me?" The door to the back lavatories was open and both were empty. I don't know why, but my heart began to race. There was no one there. My mind raced back to the morning conversation. I walked to the front of the cabin while checking every row for a cleaner or prankster crewmate. I peeked in the front lavatory and the cockpit. The aircraft was completely empty. When I joined the crew member watching my bags at the bottom of the air stairs, I asked if anyone had returned to the aircraft while I was in there. "No, the pilots are already on their way to the crew van, as are the other two girls." Just then, one of the local airport workers appeared. "Is everyone off the aircraft? Can I bring the cleaners on?" The plane wasn't scheduled to leave for a few hours. Walking up behind the man was a group of workers with cleaning supplies and vacuums. "Sure, everyone's off." "Oh, okay. You girls have a good layover." We continued our walk to International Customs. I turned around and looked at the aircraft. "What's going on? Did you forget something else?" "No, I just thought I heard someone calling me when I went back to the plane, that's all," I said. "That reminds me. This morning I was the first arrived at the plane. As I was stowing my luggage, I heard someone call my name. Actually, it was more like they were singing it. The mechanic had just left to get a light fixture, and none of you were here yet. I grabbed my purse and left." "That's exactly what happened to me," I said wide-eyed. "Actually, I thought one of you were playing a joke on me. The voice was so clear." "Yeah, so was this one." "Have you heard the stories of one of our aircraft?" Stephanie said. "Actually, I have heard the stories, and to tell you the truth, this is the plane. But between you and me, I don't think they're just stories." So let me know in the comments below what you thought of that story, and please give me a like if you did. And I'm so happy that you're here. If you have a spooky story of your own, a true one, feel free to email me if you wouldn't mind me sharing it. My email is heytherehummingbird@runbox.com, which you can also find down below. And I will see you tomorrow night for another spooky story. And until then, happy spooky October.